Welcome to the Get Smart with Money podcast. I'm your host, Dayna Hernandez, financial planner and author of Get Smart with Money, Break Free from the Struggle, Build Wealth on Your Terms, and Rewrite Your Money Story. Here we talk about money, entrepreneurship, growth, and resilience, because financial freedom is about more than just numbers. Each week, you'll get practical strategies, inspiring stories, and the motivation you need to stress less about money and create more freedom in your life. Let's get smart with money together. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Get Smart with Money podcast. Today, we have a very special guest. Her name is Sarah Jones, and she is a money coach who travels full-time in her RV. Currently, she is right outside of Phoenix, Arizona. Thank you for being here today, Sarah.
Hey, Dayna, thank you. I'm excited to talk with you and get to know you a little bit better and also share a little bit of my story with others.
Yeah, I think we've been trying to do this for a minute, right?
It's been a while, but life happens and things get crazy. So I'm really excited that we're finally able to meet and talk.
Yeah, for sure. Me too. So let me just start off by asking you, what are your hobbies? What do you do when you're not helping people with money?
I love rescuing houseplants, which is a really hard thing to do when you travel full time because space is like at a minimum. So definitely rescuing houseplants. I've become an avid reader, so I do read quite a bit. And, when I'm not working and, helping people with their money, we're out exploring the new areas that we find ourselves in. So.
Okay, that's really cool. I do have plans to travel RV style at some point, but I don't know, probably in about 10 years do that, I think. So I'm like fully prepared and know what I need to know, because I know there's a lot of different things you need to know about, like your windows like fogging up and just little things like that, and like mildew creation because of that. So there's just little things that I think I need to learn first.
Right. And I think it's, we jumped into it without knowing anything, quite honestly. And I'm actually kind of glad that we did that, because I think trying to gain more information, I think it would have prevented us from taking the steps to actually do it, right? So for us, I'm glad that we just kind of jumped in. But I think that, sometimes it feels like a very glamorous lifestyle. And I always try and dispel that a little bit. While it is awesome, it is also very, very challenging. So I love talking with people that are considering it or wanting to get prepared for it, because I'm here like, I don't sugarcoat any of it, right? Like there's some challenging pieces that I think people need to be aware of. But I also think that it's a step that if you're thinking about it, gosh darn, I think you need to go for it.
Yeah, it feels like something that I need to do at some point. What would you say the most challenging thing is about it?
It is more expensive than we thought it was going to be. You hear a lot of people say, "Oh, it's so much cheaper than, renting or owning a home." And that is not the case if you want to take care of your equipment. If you're just stationary, if you're just living in one on property, it can be a little bit more cost effective, than renting or owning a home. But if you're actually traveling, your costs are way higher. So that's been a challenge, is just trying to navigate that financially. The second thing, nobody thinks about this, but finding the darn grocery stores wherever you go. Like, it's not, you get so used to just living in a home or, in your town, and you just know where the grocery store is, right? You can get in and get out. Our grocery trips oftentimes are like 4 hours trying to find the store, and you get there and you find they don't sell everything that's on your grocery list, so you're trying to rearrange your menu and everything in the store.
Man.
So finding the local grocery store has been very challenging.
Yeah, that makes sense, because you have no idea where you're at most of the time.
Right. And it's like, we just get so used to having the like the loyalty cards at your quote unquote normal grocery store, but finding the coupons and all those things as you're traveling. it's not terrible, but it is challenging. You really have to set aside time, to make those trips. And so those are just a couple of the things that we've noticed along the way.
That's funny. See, I'm sure a lot of people wouldn't even know that.
Right? Well, we certainly didn't. And it's not something that people talk about either. So,
Yeah, exactly. I do have like a few people on Instagram that I follow that do the RV thing, but yeah, that's one thing that they don't talk about. Maybe they're
right.
not doing it how you are even. Maybe they're just kind of staying in one spot or a general area that they are
Mhm.
kind of familiar with, but
Yeah,
yeah, who knows?
never know.
So this is concerning your money journey. So how was it for you growing up? Like, how were your parents? Did they ever talk about money, or was that like a discussion? Because mine did not talk about money.
Yeah, my parents fought about money a lot. Um, I don't remember them ever having like full-on conversations, and they certainly didn't have the conversations with us kids, but they fought about money a lot. And I heard the terms like we're broke or we're poor. We don't have the money for that. I heard that kind of language a lot. And I also grew up seeing my dad had like a full-time job, where housing was included in that and utilities, were included. So we basically, I don't want to say we lived free, but the housing was a benefit of his job. But he also was like a serial entrepreneur. So opened up business after business after business in this quest. And what I internalized from all of that is that we never have enough. So you always have to open another business or figure out another way to get more money. Right. And so I just grew up thinking that there's never enough, no matter how much you're working, no matter how many businesses you have. So there's always this quest for, how do I start another business? How do I get another job? How do I bring in, more money? Um, and that put me into crazy scarcity mindset.
That makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even myself, I put myself in debt. So then I was on that same cycle where, like, oh, what else can I do to make extra money on the side with my job that I'm already working like full time at? And then my other job as well, working part time or something. Plus, what am I going to do on the side?
Mm-hmm.
And that just really does create the scarcity mindset because no matter how much money you make, you're like, oh my God, it's not enough.
Right. Right. And I think that there's a healthy way. I think that there's, and even when I'm working with clients, like there's a healthy way to work a full-time job and have a part-time job to be reaching some of those goals that you set for yourself, right? Like there's a healthy way to do it. Um, but and I can't speak for my parents because I don't know what was really going on with them at that time, but I took over that same cycle of like working part-time, and then getting another part-time job and then starting this business and picking up money here and doing this. And how can I, it was always in this quest of making more money. But what I wasn't focusing on necessarily is how can I get really good at growing my streams of income that I already have.
Right.
I got really good at creating new streams, but that's not beneficial if you're not good at maintaining and growing the streams that you already have, right?
Right.
And so that's where the scarcity comes in at. And I think there's a healthy way to do it. And then there's a way to do it that you just get on that hamster wheel, right? That cycle of no progress.
Yeah, you basically have to stick to one thing and master that first.
Mm-hmm.
I understand like the whole thing of, creating different streams of income, but which it makes sense initially to do that, but then it really doesn't when you think about it because it's like I keep doing all these things and that's what I was doing for like a couple years. I kept
Mm-hmm.
starting all these different things and like I kept getting stretched thinner and thinner
Mm-hmm.
because you're putting so much effort into everything at one time and it's like then you get like burnt out because you're doing too much.
Right.
You can't make any money. So it's like, damn, I just wasted money starting this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you miss out on a lot of life doing that as well. There was
Yeah.
a period of time for several years that 6, 7, 8 different positions that actually demanded my time, working for other people. And even though they were quote unquote my businesses, I still had people relying on me, right? And so, trying to, like you said, spread yourself so thin in between all of these different responsibilities, I missed out on a lot of life, and I missed out on watching my kids grow up, and I missed out on opportunities to grow my relationships with friends and my husband and everything. And so, you're right. You get spread too thin, but you really miss out on a lot of life at the same time.
Yeah, yeah. You just said you missed out on like time with your kids and husband and stuff. Like, I feel like that sort of happened to me with my recent ex that I'm now moving away from and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I was just starting so many different things because I was trying to get us to a point where we didn't have to stress about money, and every paycheck we got was not enough to pay everything that we needed. So we kept cutting down costs and cutting down stuff here, like canceling subscriptions, but you can only cut down so much.
Right.
We still are living in the 21st century. We still kind of need some things, So yeah, I got to the point where I was like always on my computer, always at my desk, and he was not ever hanging out with me because he was either at work or just downstairs, like she's up there, like again, like,
Right.
I felt like I didn't have time because I was trying to build something. And then I built this podcast as well during that time. So this is still going. Yay.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It brings things into perspective, I think, right?
Yeah.
That, our quest for more money, where is the point where we can cut down, but is the point that we really look at how can I increase my income, or how can I, grow my streams of income that I already have and still experience life at the same time? And I think that's where a lot of people really struggle.
Yeah.
It's that old, like, it has to be either live for today and forget about tomorrow, or only plan for tomorrow and,
Forget about today.
That way, right?
Yeah.
And I like to teach people and share with people that you really can have both. We just have to put the systems in place to allow that to happen.
Yeah. You cannot forget about self-care when you're working that much.
Right.
It's super important. If I can help people like that, then I will, because I've been in that same boat. I mean, right now I have 2 jobs, plus I'm working on building my financial business on the side. So one day that will transition to full time, but for right now, I still have things I need to pay. But me moving now, I'm going to be saving some money. So that's going to be really nice.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I'm actually going to be getting ahead here soon.
I love hearing that.
Yeah. It sucks that it took so long though, like if I had known a lot of the things that I know now back when I was like 24, oh my God, I'd be in a so much different place right now.
Well, and that's what, I always tell, my clients, or, when I'm talking with people, that, people can do it on their own. You can kind of muddle your way through it. My husband and I did it, our journey, and we've been debt-free twice, but it took us 12 years to become debt-free, and we've been debt-free since 2018. But it took us 12 years. Our journey was 12 years long. And so you hear all of these like, oh, I paid off $1 million in 6 months. You know what? Maybe some people do that. But for the majority of people, it doesn't look that way, and they get frustrated. So that's why I share, my journey, it was 12 years, 12 painful years.
Yeah.
And that's why I created the systems and everything that I use with my clients, because it doesn't have to take that long. But you have to go into it with this mindset of, I'm in it for a lifetime, not just the meantime. Right? And so we're building habits and skills that are going to last forever, right? No matter what comes your way. And I think that we do live in a society where we want instant gratification, and it feels really hard when it does take a long time, right? And I look back even at my journey, I'm like, if somebody would have just told me, and the truth is maybe somebody did, I just wasn't in a spot to receive that message yet.
This is a short commercial break just to bring to your attention that I am now taking one-on-one free financial needs analysis calls, and you may go to our website called Get Smart with Money Podcast to book your call, and please do not forget to add your name to our email list. We send out freebies and information about once or twice a week about upcoming episodes and things of that sort. Thank you for listening.
Exactly.
Right. So I needed to go through all of that to get to where I'm at right now. And because of that, I have this platform and this knowledge that I then can help other people that they're ready. They don't need to go through that 12 years, right? They're ready. They're at a spot where they're ready to receive it. And they're like, yeah, I want to get this done a lot quicker, right? I don't want to wait that long, and I don't want to work that long. And I think that's, hindsight's 2020, as they say, right? We pick up all that, but you have this amazing ability now is to take everything that you've learned and help other people do it much quicker.
Yeah, and share my stories, and some of my stories are about manipulation. People manipulated me into financing this $3,000 couch one time. What do I need a $3,000 couch for?
Right.
There's Facebook Marketplace, okay? There's plenty of good couches there.
Right.
So I have stories like that I could just share with people, because it is easy to get manipulated, especially if you're with someone that you love or whatever, because that was who manipulated me into that. Just, you got to be careful. You got to stand your ground.
Right. And I think knowing, building up your financial literacy and understanding the effects of those choices, right? And asking questions, and when you go into something, with more information, I think you become a more informed consumer. So then you have an opportunity to either make the same choice or make a different one, right? And I think that's really what it's about, is just increasing our literacy and our understanding of how money works. And so when people try to manipulate us, or they try and make something sound like a really great deal, if those words come out, then I know it's probably not that great of a deal, because I'm more savvy, right? I'm a more savvy consumer now.
Yeah, exactly. And then when it comes to co-signing things with people, absolutely not.
Right. Right. Done that before. Won't do that again. Right.
Won't do it again, because if they stop paying, it's all on you.
Right.
So yeah, there's just little things like that. My parents drilled that into my head when I was a kid. They didn't talk about money really at all. I still have no idea what my parents even made at their jobs when they were working. They just did not disclose information like that with me, but they drilled that into my head. Don't co-sign with anybody. So
they probably had an experience with that, right? They probably had a prior experience with that.
I don't know. Probably not. I don't know. They're pretty damn smart with their money. So I don't know. But that was just a really important thing that they drilled into my head. So I've been asked a couple times by other people, oh, can you help me get a car? I would love to help you get a car, but I'm not going to put my name on the car.
Right.
Yeah. Right. If I had some money to give you, sure, because you really need a car, no problem. But I don't even have the money because I didn't set myself up correctly. So now I'm starting over,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, man. I want to help so many people around me with things, but if I'm not okay, then how can you help other people?
Right. Right. Well, and I think part of it is, help doesn't always have to come down to, actually handing over dollars. I think help can be with education, help can be with providing them a resource, help can be, guiding them through a process. And so,
that's all I got right now.
Well, and you know what? A lot of times that's more beneficial because you're actually helping them build skills again that's going to last them forever.
Yeah.
And teach them about protecting themselves, right? And thinking ahead, and because you're doing that as well.
Yeah. I also like to talk to people about a couple times I was scammed, and one person that I know was scammed even worse than me. So, because there's signs to watch out for, and people are just so taken advantage of these days.
Yeah.
With that. So
that would be a great episode just in itself, right? Of just talking about ways, and how to identify potential scams and what questions to ask to, how do you protect yourself?
Yeah, my third episode is actually about those stories, but I do want to have another one. Like, I want people to give me some input, like things they've witnessed, things that's happened to them, or just I want like a collaboration type of episode about it because it's not talked about enough, but it happens every day.
Right, right. Well, maybe somebody listening will get in touch with you and say like, "Hey, I've got a story that we can talk about."
Yeah, that'd be great. Doesn't matter who you are, if you have a good scamming story, oh man. It doesn't have to be about you either, but yeah, email me, dana.hernandez.agent@gmail.com. I want to know.
Right, right.
So how do you coach people? So who comes to you? What are their issues normally? Just that they're in debt or they don't know how to handle their money?
Yeah, not all my clients have debt. I actually work with a lot of people that are debt free. But what's interesting is that some of the problems or, challenges are the same across the board. So it's not debt isn't the challenge. It's how to manage money in a way that feels good and that you feel like you're actually reaching the goals that you set out for yourself, right? And for some people, that goal is getting out of debt. For other people, it's planning ahead for, like retirement years. Now, I don't sell securities. I want to be really clear. I don't sell investments. I don't sell insurance, but I do help people build their literacy, and we go through all the options, and so they then can see what direction they really need to be headed, what actions they need to take to start reaching some of those goals that they set for themselves. And a lot of times people just feel like they're terrible with money. And that's not the case. It's just that they don't have the literacy and they don't have, the information to be able to make different choices. They don't see the choices that they really have. And a lot of that is based off of even the first question that you asked me, how did you grow up hearing about money, or did your parents talk about it? We learn from our parents. We learn from the people that are the most influential in our lives, right? And a lot of those same things carry over into adulthood. So I work with clients on, I kind of call it like the magic and the money, right? And so the magic is like mindset, behaviors, the way, we grew up hearing about money. And then, the money piece is all the strategy, the processes that we put in place. And once you combine all of that, you really get to this place of this beautiful journey where money feels fun again, where you start to see the anxiety and the worry of money starts to decrease because you start to see things actually happening, things actually coming to fruition, right? Yeah. And it's about really building confidence with money, which so many people lack.
They do. Mm-hmm. Everybody has their own feelings about money and around it. I did this exercise one time because it was just, money was stressing me out. It was giving me so much anxiety. I was crying a lot because I was so stressed out. I didn't have enough. This was like during the times where I was like starting all these different things. And it was like a visualization exercise where you like put money, you pictured how money would look in your mind to yourself, and you put it like in a chair, whatever, across from you. And it has like whatever color aura you want it to have. Mine was like a glowing green. Mm-hmm. And it was just like a pile of money sitting there on the couch across from me. And it was just like a really good exercise to like kind of separate yourself from it and like just kind of have a conversation with money. As odd as that could sound, but that's like money EQ right there.
Right. Right. Yeah. And I think that, even taking that a step farther, I think people don't even allow themselves to visualize having money in their presence, right? Mm-hmm. And so we don't feel like we're worthy of it. Although we want it. I could talk about this for hours and hours, but, even though you want it, you're actually blocking yourself from receiving it. Or when you get a raise, that's why it's gone right away, is because you actually deep down don't feel like you're worthy of having it. And so you subconsciously spend it on these areas, right, that aren't bringing any value to your life. And so we work on a lot of money blocks and everything as well.
Are you familiar with Christopher Duncan?
No.
he does super conscious recode, and
Mm.
he's out of Australia. I interviewed him a few weeks ago, but he talks about how it's like our subconscious is so used to being in that place of debt, because and we yes, we want more money and stuff. There are things we are doing to create more money for ourselves, but then we always figure out a way to kind of push it away and go back to how we were back in debt, feeling like shit.
Mhm.
But we're there again because we didn't die there before.
Right.
It's like a whole weird survival thing.
Well, and it almost feels comfortable. We get so comfortable being in an uncomfortable situation that going outside of that and doing something new, that feels too scary. Even though we don't like where we're at, it feels comfortable,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's like, do you want to keep your hand on that hot burner anymore? Or like, I'm
Right?
gonna take it off.
Right. And some people aren't ready. And you know what? That's okay. We all have to get to that spot of being, really ready to do what it takes to change, because it's not easy. It really isn't. You're really
Yeah.
changing a lot of that programming. You're changing a lot of that mindset. You're changing a lot of the behaviors
Yeah.
that you've had for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I say it's meant for the lifetime, and it doesn't happen overnight. You really have to go into it thinking like this is going to be a lifelong journey, one that doesn't have to be terrible. It can be really enjoyable, but it is a lifelong journey.
Yeah, and that's what it does take. It takes you changing your mindset and wanting to change your habits and your
Mm-hmm.
discipline style and everything. It
Yeah.
definitely takes a long time, but I mean, once you start doing that stuff, it is like the most rewarding thing in the world. I'm so addicted to self-development and stuff. Like, it's amazing. I'm not the same person that I was
Yeah.
4 years ago. So,
No, no, absolutely not. And I think that I think that's what makes you good. And when you start building up your, financial business, whatever, full direction you want to go, that's what's going to make you really successful and be able to help so many people. Right. And even just using your podcast, this platform to inform and to educate and to help people and to create this space where they know where they can come, right, to get really valuable information. It's important, it's important that people feel that trust with you. And
yeah.
it's all about passing along, I think, the stuff that we've learned, and then pass it along and showing people what it actually looks like, because we can tell them, but it's really about showing them how you've changed and the results of those changes.
Yeah. And it's hard because for me, like, I am still in debt, but I have the tools to help myself and I have the tools to help other people, but I'm still personally in debt and I'm working on it every day.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like a weird feeling, like, should I be completely 100% debt free first in order to help people? I don't really think that's the case. I think we can work on it together, but I can share with them what I have already learned and what I'm doing to get rid of mine.
Mm-hmm. I think that you don't have to be 100% debt free to be able to help somebody, because there are people out there that are really just getting started on their journey, and they want somebody that has,
That feels
started and
everything
knows
they
what it,
feel.
yeah, right. And has really been there and understands, kind of the process and how difficult those beginning stages really are.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think that there's a place for everybody in this journey. And with my clients and when I'm speaking out, I'm very open and honest with everything that I'm currently going through. Even being debt free, I still work with a coach, because there are still blind spots. There are still, money is emotional, it affects us, right? And
Yeah.
so working directly with somebody allows me to be more privy to those blind spots before they turn detrimental, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
having a coach help me to be like, whoa, Sarah, let's take a step back. Why do you automatically assume that? Or, let's take another look at the options that you think you have, right? So I think that there's a place for everybody, no matter where it is in your journey. So I think you have the ability to help a lot of people, even still being in debt, because you know what? There's a lot of people that have debt. Debt isn't the enemy. I just want to say that debt
Mhm.
isn't the enemy. I think it's villainized. I think it's made to be the enemy in a lot of, language out in the world, but it really isn't. I think that there are some debts that don't allow you, right, to live the life that you really want to live. And so it's just about recognizing, you know what, I'm not willing to do this anymore. So then how do I get to a spot that I really can live the life that I truly want to live? And then with that, then will come debt elimination. But you're not a bad person or you're not terrible because you have debt. I mean, we've had a lot. I mean, I have had a lot of debt, and it's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, you're still alive.
Right. Right. And it's just, I think that we, especially women, and I can speak more on that because I am, right? But I think men carry it too, but I think women carry a lot of shame and guilt when it comes to money and especially debt. And I I work really hard to release that shame and guilt when it comes to money, because I think that that's really what's holding us back. And we're too embarrassed to say anything, and we're too embarrassed to reach out for help, because debt feels like there's a lot of shame surrounding it, right? And so that's why I say debt isn't the enemy, that we don't have to carry shame and guilt with us.
Yeah, I definitely was carrying a lot of that for a long time. It feels like a dark cloud, and it really affects like how you show up in the public, even, or with your friends, like if you're not you, it makes
Right.
you want to like retreat. And it's really hard to spark up any sort of conversation with a stranger, or even like your own friends, or go out to lunch with your friends if they invite you. It's like, I'm gonna have to pass. I hate saying that, because it's like, this is like time to hang out and have fun. But if you're not feeling up to it because of the whole like shame and guilt part of it, like it really can take over.
It can. And you end up making choices, you alluded to it, but you're really just making choices that don't feel in alignment with you, that really aren't based on the values and the life that you want to create, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's really important to get to a place where you feel comfortable enough to go out to lunch with your friends. It's one lunch.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So that was a great conversation. I would like to have you on again at some point. Or maybe, maybe we can like collab on something at some point, but hang out for a second. We're going to sign off, and I hope everyone got some value out of that for sure, because that was a great conversation. Thank you for being here today, Sarah.
Yeah, thank you, Dayna, so much for having me. I had a great time and a great conversation.
Awesome. You have a great day, and thank you for listening, everybody. Please like, review, share, and subscribe to this podcast, and follow us on Instagram at GetSmartWMoneyPodcast, as well as checking out our website at GetSmartWithMoneyPodcast.com.